Neck-throughs, guitars, they're like a guy that you won't have a beer with you.
I want to hear what's pushing the notes.
Freddie King and B.B. King, Albert King, and let's not forget Burger King.
I don't want to blow my knuckle out.
Stainless steel is the work of the devil.
These go to 11.
From the East Amplification Tone Labs in Baltimore, Maryland, it's the Amps and Axes Show. With your hosts, Jeff the Godfather of Low Wattage Amps Bober and Mick Marcelino.
Well, good day to you, Mr. Bober.
Good day to you, Mr. Marcelino.
Oh, guess what?
Nice one today. Nice one today. I don't know what.
It was a gorgeous day, by the way. Something that we've been wanting for a while here because, man, it rained like crazy. I thought I was building an ark. I was getting prepared, but I guess.
Well, don't put away the mallet and wooden nails just yet because the weekend's coming.
Still having trouble getting all those marsupials together, but you know how it is. Yeah, anyway,
they're tough.
I want to tell our fans. We were doing commercials and then we stopped doing commercials and. We have advertising, and it is on our webpage, and that is at ampsandaxescast.com. And I acquired from the Chinese ampsandaxes.com. So it's going to be you're going to be able to go either way, and it's all going to end up at the same place. So I just want everybody to know it is by the time you hear this recording, it will be in full swing. ampsandaxes.com. and ampsandaxescast.com will get you there. And on our front page, you're going to see our advertisers. Now, what we're going to do, and this is, I want to talk about it because I want our audience to understand that, we have to generate money because we have to pay into this thing. And,
of course.
We need your help. Just like spreading the word, we need your help when it comes to this stuff. And you'll see we're only going to do one commercial per show. We're not going to do like some of the other shows that do 4 and 6 commercials per show. That's a little overkill. We're going to try to do a new one, rotate them. Sure. But if you can check out those fine sponsors and you throw some love, you click through our banners and you throw some love to them, they kick it back to us. It's no extra cost to you. It's just like Amazon. And,
right.
It's all out there. I don't have the list, but you go out to our page. There may be something that you need or want. So check it out. And like I said, in the future shows, we're going to have, just one commercial. That's all you're going to have to hear. And it's not going to be long. And everybody will be happy. And,
That's right.
Hopefully we can we can give you more shows.
Keep this thing moving.
That's right. Because, the bottom line is we want to present more stuff to you. It may not be me and Jeff, but we want to bring out more stuff and maybe have different people on the mic talking to other people or however.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There are ideas. There are irons in the fire.
Yeah, there's we can do anything we want with this medium, so we want to do the best thing, and we feel that, we're giving you guys players that you may never have heard of or even your favorite players, and hopefully we're getting the story that most people don't get because of the way that we do our interviews. So we can't do this without you, and so we really thank you for doing that.
Yes, and show a little love when you can.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
And when you do show that love, make sure that you tell everybody that, hey, you heard it here first.
That's right. That's right. And, it's a first for this guest today, but not a first for the band that she's in. Am I correct, Mick?
That is correct, man. That sounds like that band's been banging along for some time. I had to do some searching on that one to figure out when they started.
But I mean, not the first guest from the band that we've had on.
Yes. I'm sorry. Maybe I should actually listen to you.
No, that's okay. It's better when you don't. It's more fun.
This is the third. This is the third one.
Yes, third guest from this particular band.
Right, good night, everybody.
There you go. The meds are kicking in. So we're going to take a pause for the cause and come back with our guest of the week, guitarist for the Iron Maidens, Miss Courtney Cox.
Ciao ragazzi, sono Andy Martongelli degli Artemis e voi siete su Amps and Axes. Rock on!
All right, we are back as promised this week because we try to come back on a weekly basis and keep our promises. So, anyway,
so nice of you.
we try, we really do. And as you can hear, we are back with our guest of the week, Miss Courtney Cox. Courtney, how are you?
Dun, dun. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm hanging in there.
Oh,
I thought, well, I got through NAMM. I was like, great. I got through the Monsters of Rock cruise. Great. Went to the gym the other day. Great. I'm full force. Woke up the next day. Body's like, nope. So I think it's my time. I have to go through it. So.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's turn at one point or another this year. It's been crazy.
Oh yeah,
so
it was bad, man. I mean,
I thought I escaped NAMM, and I'm pretty sure I did escape. I got it from the guy sitting next to me on the flight home.
Yeah,
no, I know it.
That guy.
So, Jeff, I don't think you were with me. I was walking through NAMM,
okay,
and I saw Courtney, and I was like, and every now and then, you see a face, you recognize it, but it takes you that third beat, and then you go,
right.
oh my God, this is somebody I've been trying to get a hold of. So I stopped her. And she was like, yeah, I've been told I was supposed to come on your show. And I guess it was because of Nikki and Nita, because they have both been on the show. And I was like, well, here's a card. And sure enough, she got back to me. So that's...
well, here's the thing. You're forgetting one thing. He's not mentioning that when he saw me, it was pretty much like that 80s montage where everything slows down. My hair is, swinging.
Well, I forgot about that part.
Oh, that
the
is
lights
priceless.
got brighter.
And I heard, what was the name of the band? Oh God, the one that they, well, I heard Dreamweaver. That was one song.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, oh God, what was the name of the band? Eye of the Tiger. What was those guys?
Oh,
what was the name of the
Survivor.
band? Survivor,
right?
yes.
Survivor.
Yeah.
I heard
right.
that one
Ding.
too.
Very good. And Courtney wins again.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, so much for how we got her on the show, and we finally got her on the show. Thank you very much. But Courtney, I don't know if you've listened before, but with all our guests, I like to jump in the Wayback Machine and take a trip back to where Miss Courtney Cox was born and raised, and how you got into this wonderful, wacky world of music. So, give us some history.
I'm from Philadelphia. Well, technically Delaware County, which is right outside Philly, Essington. I don't know. I kind of have a boring life. Let me see, because it's a factory town, Westinghouse factory town. So pretty much, you either got out or you didn't, and luckily I did. But with music, my grandmother had a piano, so like growing up, she'd always, play for me and stuff, and I was always drawn to it, and then. My cool years in band, first check clarinetist,
Oh, wow.
I should have stuck with it, man. I think that was my true calling.
First chair clarinetist. Well, at some point in time, we'll get to the clarinet players on the show. And
I know, right?
So
you can get me. I think Kirsten played French horn. So, dude.
Wow.
There you go.
So your grandmother played, or she just had a piano because it looked good?
No, she was a player. I mean,
Nice.
I mean, in that age bracket, I think everyone knew how to play piano. But yeah, I said piano. I mean, I just always loved just picking up random instruments. Like even the clarinet. Like, I brought one home from school, and the next day I was already through the book.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was,
Overachiever.
I know, right? Gold star. But then, eventually, I was too cool for school. And then one December, I literally went to my father. I'm like, I want a guitar. And he kind of just looked at me like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, why not? And then boom, that was that. I didn't really have an answer for him. I just had the feeling I wanted to play. I'm just weird like that.
So nothing. You just decided that was the instrument you wanted. Like nothing. No person or player kind of like spurred that action.
No, I just wanted a guitar, and then I just locked myself away in our garage, and within a week I was like playing Metallica tunes. So I had no friends.
Wow.
How old were you at that time?
I was like 13, 14.
No, that's the time. If anywhere from we found from 10 and till like that 15, 16, but that's usually it. Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Within a week, you were learning Metallica tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So obviously that's what you were listening to at that point in time, right?
Yeah, Metallica and Backstreet Boys.
I'm
not kidding.
There you go. Man, I don't know where to go with that
one. I grew up in the 90s, man.
Right?
That's a lot of range.
Well, I mean, if you didn't wind up playing metal, or some semblance thereof, you could have been in a for-hire backing band for, who knows, Timberlake or somebody. Who knows?
I would still audition for Backstreet Boys to this day. Good songs. Good song is a good song, regardless if it's bubblegum crap or whatever is popular these days. I don't know.
That's cool. And you know what? Honestly, you're not the first person I've heard that from. It's like, good songs, man. Just good songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all that matters.
So you got your guitar and, you mastered Metallica, master of Metallica.
Oh, see, nice.
Mastered Metallica in a week. So did you finally make some other musical friends at that point and go, hey, man, I'm really damn good. You should play with me.
Yeah, I was just playing by myself. That sounded terrible. But, just in high school and stuff, just trying to get people together to play. But, I did start seeing that whole, gender thing. I don't want to play with you, you're a girl, blah, blah, blah. So I had to deal with that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, what's wrong with those boys?
They're not doing anything now, I'll tell you that much.
Well, there you go.
See, that's what was wrong with them.
And
wow.
So this is still in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably 90% dudes, 95% dudes playing, and they want to play metal, but it's like I don't want a chick in the band, and I can imagine that must have been a pretty tough swing for a while. So, but your level of playing is pretty advanced. When did you start coming into your own that they started taking notice? Like, hey, this chick is smoking on the guitar, and maybe it's not such a bad thing to have her in the band.
Well, it got to a point like they would always have these just like open jam mic things like once every month. And I just would just sit there by myself and just riff out and just play by myself, and just because no one else wanted to play with me, so I was like, what, I'll just do this myself, whatever. And then you start noticing the crowd getting bigger, and I'm like, oh, I guess she can play. Like, you think? And it continued on too. Like, we'd finally get this band together or whatever, and they're like, no, I'm soloing. You play rhythm. It was just so high school,
Now, what year was this? I mean, you're 13, but we don't know your age, and we're not going to ask you, so we're going to do the math
I'm
through
28.
the year. Okay, so 15 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would have put us 15 was it 2003? Man, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, out of it. That's like freshman.
Wow.
That was fun.
I don't think they didn't want to play with you because you were a girl. I think they didn't want to play with you because you were too good. You'd have just showed the guys.
I think that's probably more of it than anything else. It was probably like
we all suck compared to her.
Yeah, who wants to get shown up by a chick?
Right there. See, there's the reasoning right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So, I mean, you finally got something together. So, I mean, were you playing the high school circuit, or was this a time where you were, it was a few years later and you actually got to play some clubs? And was there any place to play there?
No, actually, the turning point was I discovered there's a School Rock or whatever, the first one that they made the movie about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was mean, I'll tell you that much. But and I was the worst student ever. Like, I taught myself how to play by jamming along the tunes. And I just could not, for the love of me, take someone trying to teach me and telling me how to do certain things. Like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I hate people telling me what to do, especially when it comes to something as creative as music. Like, I don't want to sound like you. Like, I'm going to do it my own way. So I was like the worst student at this school rock thing. Just completely hated it. They hated me, but I was good, so it works, But through them, I got to do my first tours with Adrian Belew and John Anderson, which is completely mind-blowing.
There you go.
Wow.
So,
how did that come about?
They came to the school and they wanted young, players to back them up. And fortunately, I got to do both.
Wow. That's
so
pretty...
there was me, rebellious Courtney wearing her Slayer shirt, playing Yes songs.
That's great. I love that, man.
And none of those douchebags that wouldn't let you in the band were in that gig.
Right,
so
right.
There you go.
And now their parents are at the concert.
There you go. Wow, that's great.
That's awesome.
How was John Anderson to work with?
He was really great. No, he was a sweetheart. No, it's just the voice of that man is just literally could just stop a room.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing has changed. Like the minute he opens his mouth, there's just like angels.
Wow.
But
right there.
It was some of the greatest years of my life, those tours. Like I've really learned a lot, and the upsides of the music business, the downsides, like just how people treat each other, competition, traveling on the bus and stuff. So it was definitely eye-opening, and I don't think I'd be the person I am now without going through that. So
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Insert music.
Right. More angels, please. More angels.
Yes.
And I mean, they're. I don't want to say they're really different because I mean, if you think about it, their music is not all that different once you really think about it. But on the surface, it's like, oh, Adrian Belew and John Anderson, man, that's a stretch.
No, it's just prog.
It's all kind of prog. Yeah, it's just it's very different, but it all fits under the prog umbrella. Man, what kind of stuff was Belew doing at that point?
We were doing. We covered a lot of King Crimson, obviously, and then he had a bunch of his original stuff. But yeah, it was just, it's Belew. It was just a million pedals and a million different time signatures and sound effects and stuff. But sweetheart, him and his wife, just lovely people. But man, I was such I still am a metalhead. So like all the other kids that were on this tour too, they were all like kissing ass and, oh my God, I can't believe it's Adrian Belew. I'm like, who is this guy? I had no idea. I was so young. I mean, prog wasn't my thing. It was Metallica or Don't Talk to Me.
Wow.
But it's you always want to not be in your comfort zone. So definitely that was it for me. Like being a metalhead and playing these hippie prog rock songs. Like it was just very strange. I don't know how I find myself in these friggin' predicaments. It's like whatever, bring it on.
Well, I mean, we've said this before, and a lot of our guests have said it before. It's like an opportunity comes up, say yes.
Mm-hmm.
You never say no.
And then figure it out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But man, okay, maybe I could see myself doing the John Anderson thing, but the Belew thing, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's a little out.
It's like you got to figure out where you fit. I mean,
especially doing tunes like frame by frame where everything's like row your boat and you miss one note, you're screwed. But it was fun.
I guess it was a challenge and a lot of fun. I would have.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge.
So, how long did those last, and where did you go from there?
On the side when that was happening. Me and some other girls that were on the tour. One being Gina Gleason, who was doing that Circus LA 1 thing. We put together a band called Queen Diamond because after all this
King Diamond,
Sunshine, John Anderson stuff, we're like, okay, we're playing King Diamond. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's great.
So we put together, you know, this tribute band, all female, Queen Diamond. We just started doing that on the side. And we were all in and out of our own original bands at the time. I was in a band called Toxic Box. I didn't really think that one through, but yeah, Toxic. and I think the first EP, Don't Block the Box. It was great.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can't make this up, man. Just wait until my book comes out, man. It's going to be your bestseller.
Toxic book.
But,
oh my
yeah.
God.
And it was fun. Breathe.
That is beautiful.
That's great.
Oh my God.
I gotta find this shirt somewhere. I have one somewhere.
We want a picture.
Yeah.
So the Queen Diamond thing, that was a tribute band. That really got you going in that whole tribute vein, right? I mean, that was
And it was funny when we were, we were like, oh yeah, we're doing this, and that's when I actually first heard of the Maidens. And I was I was so young and catty. I'm like, oh, we'll be better than them. Like, who are these girls? I could play the Trooper better than that, but I'm playing King Diamond. I was just that, young teenager wants to fight the world kind of person.
Yeah, but I can't imagine the crowds for the King Diamond tribute band.
Not
like, you say that in a passing to some people, and they're going to be like, "Who the hell is King Diamond?"
Right.
Well, even rehearsing this stuff, my mom's like, "What is that? What's wrong with his voice?"
It's a guy with an upside down cross on his forehead.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard of another King Diamond tribute
never.
band. That's a first.
Actually,
and all female.
Definitely the only all female.
Wow.
But there's a few out there. I actually played with one when the Maidens were on tour in Peru. They had me come up for a few tunes. I forget the name though.
Wow.
South American King Diamond tribute band.
Wow.
I mean, you have everything.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you were you did the Queen Diamond thing, and you were poo-pooing on the Iron Maidens.
Yeah.
Where did it go from there?
And a typical girl band scenario, we started fighting. Particularly me and one of the guitar players, because there was three for some reason, over a guy, and that never ends well. So I just kind of said, screw you guys, and I moved to California.
Well, there you go.
And then what was that?
How old were you?
I was out at 19.
19.
So, yeah.
Up and out of here. Wow.
Just a guitar and a backpack.
Holy crap. You know how many people we've talked to that have been, I just got on a bus and just went out.
That's it. Just left.
Never looked back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gave my mom like a week's notice too. It was like really just bye. Let's see you.
Sink or swim.
It takes balls, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to sink or swim. And man, we've talked to a lot of people that swam. No lie. Yeah. That's great.
That is awesome.
And I mean, even looking through, just going back, thinking of like the great bands who did that. Where are they all from? Pennsylvania. That seems to be the trend. Leave Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the people we've talked to, Paul Gilbert, Richie Kotzen,
Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Greg Mara, yourself. Am I missing somebody?
Oh, probably a couple.
Was Pete Thorne from Pennsylvania?
Pete Thorne? I don't know.
It's like, I don't know what's going on in Pennsylvania, but man.
Nothing, exactly.
Learn, play, and get out.
That's what Richie said. He goes, we live like nowhere near anybody, and he goes, so I just played guitar. It was
That's all there was to do. Right.
You learned how to shred in a barn.
Yeah, well, even when I was still, the music scene when I was there, there's, that whole artsy hipster thing was just starting. So And I was part of like the crusty thrash kids, you know. We'd literally find like old crack houses, gut them, play until the cops come, grab your gear, run. That was but even the thrash scene, you know, it kind of just leveled out and didn't go anywhere. So the next thing was what everyone does, you know, you think music, you got to go to LA.
Yeah. And I imagine you were another one of those that went with really no plan, or, you know, no contact
no money,
there when you
no
got
plan.
there. Wow.
So just because, you know, I'm a dad and I'm older, what do you do when you get there? I mean, eventually you get off of whatever is taking you there. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you eat that night? I mean, you don't have, there's no job. There's nothing in front of you. What do you, I mean, how do you do that?
Well, also is around a boy, so luckily. Yeah, so.
There you go.
The heartstrings were pulled. So, you know, I had a place to stay. I know, but it wasn't, I mean, it was still tough. You know, I had no friends, no family at all. Everyone's in Pennsylvania, but and it was rough. It had a lot of dark times. Just the loneliness was kind of, you know, overbearing at some points. But you know, I had a guitar, so that was fine. And
what guitar was that actually? Was
that
your first guitar? Or?
No. Wait, what did I bring out? I think I brought out. I had an RG 550 reissue. And Road Flare Red.
There you go.
And then what another one did I have? I can't remember, but I have a lot of guitars, so it's.
And for our listeners, for our listeners, the RG series, when it started, that's when Vi's guitar was pretty much invented, and they kind of made this road gear or road whatever they call it. And the first ones were neon. It was a neon
green,
yellow.
Right?
Yellow.
Yeah, they had yellow, they had red, and they had white, I think. And these were like really bright colors, and and they, you know, they were decked out. And it was basically like a Vi guitar without the handle on it, you know. Mm-hmm. And it was they're considered some of the best like shred guitars that were like made. They're even reissuing those pickups in the 2018 line, the V7 and the V8, if I'm not mistaken, because they were really wound. They were actually done very well, those pickups, and a lot of guys would take them out. And now you pay dearly for those things. But they went back, and I think they're reissuing those. And, you know, that was the shredder's guitar, man. I mean, every shredder guy in L.A., anywhere, that's what they had. They had an RG, and you know, it was like right out of the box. You had everything you needed to be the next guy or girl. So
you went to L.A. with a guitar, maybe two, which means you.
Well, I was with Jackson at the time, so it definitely had to. I think it was a Jackson soloist.
Oh wow!
I think it was a black solo. Yeah. So I got my endorsement from Jackson. I think when I was 15.
Holy crap!
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
How did you get that? How do you, especially on the East Coast? How did you obtain
that? Well, it wasn't on the East Coast. We were playing Tempe Music Festival, and that's where the Jackson factories or whatever is down there. And they watched me play it. And actually, I was playing Dyer's Eve, Metallica, and they're like, "Here, take these Jacksons." So everything comes back to Metallica. No, I was in the right place at the right time. You know, if you truly love what you do, other people see it. So they saw something in me. So I was with them for 10 plus years. Then I'm at Caparison now, but you know, I had a good run with Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great company too.
Oh, yeah.
So what's you know, when you were in Pennsylvania, and I don't know if you took a bus, plane, train, car from there to L.A. And did you bring gear with you? But what was your rig like when you were playing in Pennsylvania? And did you bring it with you? And if not, what did you wind up getting into when you hit L.A.?
My setup really hasn't changed since I started. You know, I always had my Boss DD3. I had a CH4 Boss Chorus. Back then I used to use the BBE Sonic Maximizer. I don't now.
Love those.
And yeah.
I had 3 of them.
Chunk.
Yeah, man. Those things were amazing. We'll have to have a whole discussion about those, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like a boost pedal, and I think my first distortion was Digitech Metal something. Metal Monster, Metal whatever the names. But yeah, and I took it with me. Flew. You know, carried my board onto the plane, and they thought I had a bomb. So all the cables, 'cause I'm very messy when it comes to cables and stuff. So they're like, "Ma'am, I think you might want to tuck those wires in because it looks very suspicious." Sorry, but yeah, that's, you know, my rig. Like I said, it hasn't really changed because I like to keep things as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm. What was your amp of choice back then, and has that changed?
Well, the same time, you know, I started my dealings with Jackson. I also started an endorsement with Peavey, so I had a 6505 Plus.
Which is the 5150, basically.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Well, it's funny. At first, they gave me the Joe Satriani head. They're like, "Oh, you won't need anything else." I'm like, "Well, I did." So I traded that in. I got the 6505 Plus.
Wow. Yeah, 6505, I think, was the 5150 after Eddie.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
they wanted to keep that going, and they couldn't because he owned all the stuff. You know, all the naming and
I think James did a couple of tweaks to the 5150, and then it turned into the 6505.
Yes. We've actually talked to the guy, Courtney, James Brown, who actually designed that. Designed all the amps for Eddie and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was at NAMM, too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, with an amplifier.
Yeah. Well, he's
Did you have your 80s montage moment with him, too?
Not like I did with you.
It's James Brown.
I didn't hear Dreamweaver. And he doesn't have much hair, so it wasn't blowing in the wind.
That's perfect.
It's just his badge flapping behind him.
That's what it was, yeah.
So do you still play the 6505s?
No. I mean, I used it a lot with Queen Diamond and stuff, but then I went to one of the summer NAMMs, and it's just when they were bringing out the Valve King, and I was completely head over heels, and so I played that. I think I was the only one playing that amp for until recently, actually. But I switched over to Freidman, but up until about a year ago, I was the same Valve King I got at that summer NAMM. You know, never broke down and nothing. It was a true like road warrior.
Wow. Man,
that's a price difference, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Going
like
from a Valve King to a Freidman, that's like, wow.
Well, I'm a tone snob, so it's, you know.
And that's okay. You can be.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
I mean, as a player, you want to evolve and, you know, spice things up, and I think I did a good job. So.
Cool. So when did the let me see, what came before the Iron Maiden? Femme Fatale. How did that come about?
Me and Nita were actually living with each other at the time. And, you know, we're driving around the Sirius XM, you know, and Big One came on. We're like, man, I really want a freaking band with a singer like that. And no joke, literally like 3 hours later, we get a phone call, both of us. You know, hey, you want to join Femme Fatale? I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. Seriously, we were just listening to your song. It was Lorraine. She needed, you know, just reforming the band, all chicks and stuff. And, you know, she called me Anita.
Wow.
And that was, I mean, the band doesn't really play that much. She's into producing TV shows and stuff. So, you know, her main focus is that. But Right now, it's more of like a festival type of band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, that's
it's fun.
That's great. It's it pretty much, well, I don't know, maybe you do tour that much, but it pretty much beats touring 350 days of the year.
Oh, see, I love it. I could,
really?
Actually being home is weird for me. I just look for the next tour.
Wow. I guess there are both sides of the coin. People are like, oh man, I just can't wait to be home.
And then you got Joel Hoekstra. Most of his Instagram pictures are him landing. There's a picture out the window, and it's like, man, that dude never stops. And of course, I follow Courtney on Instagram, and it's the same thing. I mean, it is just show after show, and I'm like,
cats.
Are they all coming around? Are they all around L.A.? And then it's like, nope, they're all over the place. Mm-hmm. And that's I mean, in this day and age, that's a great thing. Because like here where we live, the club scene, it just seems like it's getting smaller and smaller for bands. Mm-hmm. So to actually take a tribute band like that out on the road, and I mean, you guys toured Europe. You just got back from Europe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Even with all these tours, you can find where we're going to be, in the palm of your hand. Mm-hmm. And the thing I always, it's just so mind-boggling that, like, case in point, we were in Europe, but we also played the UK. The day after our London show, we get messages like, so when you play in London? Or like this and that. Or it's like, even in LA, it's like, when you play in the Whiskey? We did last night. I don't know. Not to take an attack at fans and stuff. It's just like, you have Facebook, man. You can find the tour dates.
Totally.
Yeah, it is kind of the information age.
Come to Japan. I'm in Japan.
And it wouldn't be hard to pick you out of the crowd in Japan.
Yeah, right. Actually, I'm at one Japan tour. I got yelled at because I didn't have my, all access pass on. I'm like, really? You don't know I'm in the band?
I don't look like Mo Howard anywhere. Like everybody in this country looks like Mo Howard.
Accent.
Right, totally.
Exactly.
Wow, that's funny.
Oh, that's
so we haven't gotten to the Iron Maidens show. We were talking about Femme Fatale and how you got the call 3 hours after you put it out there to the universe, which is great. How
like
did
Facebook.
So you put it on Facebook? That's what it was. No. How did Iron Maidens happen?
Well, when I moved out. Actually, Femme came after Maidens, so I was already in the Maidens at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I moved out. I ended up working in some Kiss tribute band. Yeah, putting the makeup on was not fun. But I was an ace.
Well, that had to be interesting as hell.
Yo.
Now, were you playing your RGs or your Jacksons or?
No, actually, I was using. I had a V-type from PV, which is the, after the Vandenberg thing, their attempt at bringing that back. So I had 2 of those, and I was using that because it was white. And I'm like, I don't like Les Pauls, so I'm not going to go down that route. Gotcha. So I'm like, here, I have the makeup on, good enough. But it was through their manager at the time. He pulled me aside. He's like, oh, did you hear that band, the Iron Maidens? I think they were looking for a guitar player. And like, ding, the light bulb smashing, and I'm thinking back, oh, that band, I used to make fun of when I was in Queen Diamond. Right?
Did I say that in public?
It's coming full circle now. But, and it was, I think, MySpace at the time, so I sent them a message, the whole, this is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. Sent videos and stuff. And what I didn't realize is that I disabled the ability to have people message me. So I have week 2 weeks goes by, I didn't hear anything. I was like, oh man, they don't like me, blah blah blah. And then somehow an email was sent to me saying, "Oh, we've been trying to message you through MySpace, but I don't think it's going through." And then I looked under the settings and I'm like, "Yeah, I have it disabled. Crap."
Wow.
But after when we finally got in touch, they were already auditioning other players, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm too late. But they gave me a chance. Showed up, played, I think, Wasted Years, Trooper, and they're like, "Do you know anything else?" I'm like, "Well, I grew up playing this stuff." So we went through Flight of Icarus. I think we attempted, I forget, but I'm like, "Okay." After the audition, they called me like, "Can you come in for your second audition tomorrow, but with this list of songs?" And I think it was like Phantom, 2 Minutes, all this stuff. Early audition next day. I'm like, "Okay, can't say no." So, I just spent that day learning all the tunes. Walked in the next day, then it's flawless, done. I was in the band.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, we've had a couple of other guests on that have had the stories. Like, they called me in for the next audition the next day, and I had to learn all the stuff I didn't know. And that's but again, success for you too.
Yeah, and it shows the band you're a fast learner. I think that's why they tend to do that. More often than not, the stress factor.
Sure. Could very well be. It's like, how bad do you want it, and are you able? That's pretty cool.
And you play the part of Adrian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is cool because I've seen footage and photos with you playing a Jackson, and that's what he played back in the day. Now, of course, you play. Is it Caparison? Is that what it's called?
Caparison.
There you go. And they're amazing looking. And are you invested in that company, or is that just you?
Right now, I'm helping out with A&R and stuff like that.
It's nice. Those are nice guitars. I'm telling you, they're very streamlined, and that is a shredder's machine right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, handmade in Japan, and the luthier Ataro, he was actually one of the original Jackson luthiers from the 80s. So the guy knows what he's doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of feathers in the cap there.
Yeah.
Wow,
but I've been I was with Jackson for, like I say, 10 plus years, and to have something be put in my hands that made me just leave. It has to be something good. And like I said, I like to evolve, and that guitar I have, the Green Horse, is pretty much the best guitar I've ever played.
Wow. When did you hook up with them? When did you first start playing?
I think I've been with them 2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
And it's just, the stuff is drooling. I mean, close connection to the company or not, I swear by them. They're worth every penny. I know they can be pricey, but it's worth every penny. It's just, if you haven't tried one, try one.
Well, I've said this before. All the Japanese stuff, when it comes out of those, some of those small shops, that stuff is, anybody can look at it and go, "Oh, that just does metal," or "that does whatever." And it's, I don't believe that all the time, because I go, well, if you put, we've had this conversation. You put Stevie Ray Vaughan on it, it's going to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Sound like Stevie Ray, yep.
and no matter how much you try to make it not, it's it's still a guitar. But the ease of playing and the ergonomics of those guitars, it's like second to none. I mean, it is like you don't have to fight the instrument. Some guys do like that. Your Jack Whites and stuff. They like action that reminds them of the first guitar they ever got.
Right.
But for when if you got a gig and you got to play for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, hey, a guitar that fights you can be kind of tough at the end of the night. Where these are kind of they're just set up right. I mean, it's like all tolerances are very close, and of course they don't sound bad. It's not like they're made out of aluminum or anything.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
They actually have and it's very well balanced and everything. And these luthiers are top luthiers, man. They're not jerky dudes. They
but like you mentioned, Mick, it's like it's someone would look at it and say, okay, it's a metal guitar, but you don't necessarily believe that. But there's nothing wrong with it being made for that particular genre and be like the best of the best for that, for the player that plays in that genre. It sounds like that's what this is, which is very cool.
I saw a video where Jared James Nichols, he got a bunch of the Zakk Wylde guitars, right, which are just loaded up with EMGs, and they're a loud guitar because they're active, and so he ripped the pickups out of them, and he put in some passive pickups, and shocker, it sounds like Jared James. It sounds just like the kid that you see all the time on Instagram, probably driving his neighbors crazy, but it sounds great.
And even with players and stuff, and I've noticed this more and more, being on like the Caparison discussion groups and stuff. You always feel like your back's against the wall. You're fighting people because you can't make everyone happy, but they expect you to. Like they'll release a model. And like, I get that, but the volume knob has to be a little like 2 centimeters to the right, or I don't like this. It's like, dude, even the best, the one that gets me going is like they released the Adam D from Killswitch signature. It's a signature model. It's made for him.
Yeah,
right.
His specs, and then you get well, if I could get that with a maple fretboard or a deep cutaway this or that, but I'm like, what don't you get about it's his signature model?
Exactly.
Right. Trying to please nobody but him. Okay, you get that? Really? Where's your signature model?
It's like, where's your sign? Like,
yeah, you're right. You can't please everybody. But it sounds like these guitars have pleased you well, and that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I have some exciting news coming out soon with the company. So.
Ooh,
question marks.
Does the word start with S?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I can't give away too much, but yes, Greenie is going to be retired.
Well,
there you go.
So,
wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Actually, photos are going to start coming out probably in the next 2 weeks or so. So keep your eyes open.
Very nice, very nice. So it's the Caparisons, it's Freidman, and just still a basic few pedals, right? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way the good Lord intended it to be.
That's right.
And the rest is fingers and, well, I don't drink anymore, but if you talked to me a good year ago, I would say, and the booze, but just keep drinking. Everyone sounds better.
Exactly. What was your drink of choice?
Oh.
All of them? No, just...
you're always at the mercy of the venue, so you never know if you're going to get your rider or not. But I knew we always had wine, so I guess I'm a wino, or was a wino, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah, now all the Instagram posts are you working out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went from vodka to protein shakes. Well, I always said instead of being at the bar till 6 a.m., now I'm at the gym at 6 a.m. So
right. I was going to say one of those is slightly better in the morning, than the other. But that's very cool. That's very cool. So full touring schedule?
Yeah, I'm home for I think actually I have a show Saturday in California, and then we're off to Texas. Then we're finally getting to the East Coast. Oh. We were actually supposed to play in Baltimore, but they changed the thing.
Where are you playing?
Yeah, wasn't. I know Jax has changed many times, but it wasn't. I don't know. Kirsten's from Baltimore, so.
Oh, okay.
Check that out.
But yeah, sorry, no Maryland gigs, but I know we're hitting Philly and the. But I think we're gonna do Maryland in June. I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass right now, but
sounds good though.
So are we.
East Coast, Australia, New Zealand. I'm losing track.
So
they just tell me to show up.
You don't fly with your rig, right? I mean, because we know that's ridiculous money, so they provide backline, right?
Yeah,
okay.
and basically my saving grace is the Freidman BEOD distortion pedal.
I've heard that thing.
It's basically
yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. It's my amp on the road, and I just take my pedal board.
Pete Thorne did a whole like half an hour demo, because that's what he does. He does the demos online.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
And he was like, "Man, this thing's scary," because it was. I don't know what they're doing in there, Jeff, but you take it and you hook it up to a Fender Twin. It sounds like you got a Marshall. I mean, it's like
Dave in a box.
It's pretty wild, man. I mean, I've heard only good reviews about that thing. So
that's cool. That's cool.
And it's
I don't leave home without it.
It's not one of those crazy overpriced pedals either. It's actually
but as we found out hundreds of times, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. You pretty much have to have your core sound in your carry-on, when you're doing fly dates, because you can't you may get a Marshall, or it may be something Marshall like if you're a Marshall player, or it may be the worst sounding Marshall you've ever heard. But if you ask for something that's just a nice clean palette, whatever that is, that's going to reproduce your sound, that's in your carry-on. That's the way everybody's going nowadays. You have to.
Yep.
So it's too cost prohibitive to for cartage.
Yeah. When we talked to Paul Gilbert, he said it was the funniest thing, but it made sense. He says he makes his pedal board to fit into his luggage so he can sandwich all of his pedals between his clothes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Well, there you go.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Did you listen to the show? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Paul's got a good idea there.
Yeah, I'm taking that one. See, it's us Pennsylvania folk. We all think the same.
Totally.
Now, when you
T-shirts and pedals, man.
Because you travel so much, are the guitars in soft cases, or are they in anvil cases, or how do you do it?
I use Reunion Blues cases.
Oh.
The soft case, right? That's like
soft case,
hard on the sides, but it's kind of soft. Mm-hmm. So you're shoving them in the overhead, or are you buying a seat?
Just overheads,
okay.
And then if I get into a screaming match and threatening lawsuits, they'll just gate check it and stuff. I mean, the being a soft case, they're so durable. Like I could check it and not worry about it at all. Just make sure the neck's wrapped up, and which I do if I'm carrying it on anyway. But those cases are just mean, and actually all the Caparisons, that's their stock case. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, go online, go to Reunion Blues. They chuck guitars off of the roof,
off building,
in the case, and I mean they are throwing them down. I was like, God,
I've seen it live. It makes you cringe, but it's untouched. So
yeah, it's pretty wild.
I don't think I would do that with my mono cases.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
And what's so funny is because the reason I said, did you buy it a seat? Joe Bonamassa, he buys usually a seat for whatever ridiculously crazy expensive vintage Les Paul that he has.
Oh, well, I could get behind that, but I kind of, if I had that kind of money, I'd probably be doing the same.
Yeah, he probably only buys a seat for, when he's done with the tour and he's bought one more guitar than will fit into any of the boats that
boats,
right, the guitar boats. Like, damn, I only had room for 15 and I got 16, shit, and the 16th one is another 59 burst or something, so of course you buy a seat for that, but oh my God. Let's not go there. Courtney, anything we haven't touched on? Any endorsements that you want to mention? Strings, pedals, picks?
Oh, strings. Yeah, I just signed with DR Strings.
Oh,
cool.
Which is cool because I used to use the dime ones back when I was young, when I was playing. So it's a really cool thing to now be a part of the family. So
full circle.
And I know you're a big dime fan.
A huge.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well,
wow.
She has a tattoo on her forearm, the CFH, Cowboy from Hell. Is it Cowgirl?
I
don't know.
Cowgirl.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah I love me some dime squeals. Even, the Maiden shows, I'll sneak a few in there.
Good.
It's funny because you have a lot of that approach because he was just like go for it. I mean, that was his whole motto, man, is just just go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he did that column in Guitar World magazine. I guess it was about a year. And he put out a contest that if you were like a beginner guitarist and you got through, I forget what it was, he'd give you a 6-pack of beer. Now, granted, it could have been one of those things that maybe they were too young, but he said, not one dude, man, not one dude. He goes, you just got to go for it. And it just didn't happen, you know. But I thought, how cool was that dude, you know, that he, he always had that attitude. And you know, man, I keep going back to it, Jeff, and when I got interviewed by Greg.
You're a big Dime fan, I know.
Well, he really, that band, the Pantera, was doing what no other band could successfully do during a time when you couldn't play a solo in a song. You know, it was grunge. And everybody was just in flannel, and they were staring at their shoes, and Pantera was just carving this road to where when I hear these bands like Five Finger Death Punch and all these other bands, I go, that's exactly where this came from. You know, they can claim the fame anything else, but let me tell you, that's where it came from, because Phil's voice just got rougher as time went on. But if you listen to Cowboys from Hell, he's actually singing. You know,
well, even before that, the glam, power
the
metal
glam
and
thing,
stuff.
yeah.
I love that.
I mean,
Everyone
that was
likes
Van
to forget
Halen
about it, but I don't. Yeah.
You know, that was the
Van
brothers
Halen
Van
and
Halen
Kiss,
too.
you know?
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, and you know, that was just that was his motto, and you know,
I may have to go listen to the early stuff now.
I would really love to know what, or you know, wish we could like look into some kind of future if he would have lived like Hendrix, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Where things would be today, you know, because like I said, those guys talk about touring. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm good friends with Rita. And,
wow.
I remember there was one time I went over to her house and she's like, "Come with me." And I was like, "Okay." You know, it takes me in this room. And then she starts pulling out the guitar cases. And I'm in tears, crying, like, no. You know, she puts the mirrored, you know, Reinventing the Steel guitar in my lap. And you could there's just holding the guitar, you could just feel that power, like just the aura of it. It was just so, you know, like the hair on my arms are standing up right now, just even, you know, thinking about that day.
That's so
just Dime had such an impact on my life. And then when Maidens actually recently played the Villa Rosa where he was shot, and I remember walking in, full blown, like I was in tears. I could not, you know. Now I'm stage left, so I was standing right where it happened.
Yeah.
And I had to walk out. I couldn't take it. It was just so overwhelming. And
did you get to hold the Dean from Hell?
That one I did not. She has that one in Texas, I believe, but she has a lot of the good ones.
I think the headstock was broke off of that, Jeff, like no less than a dozen times.
Oh, and the best is the video of it just hanging as he's still going.
He would, you know, there would be times when he would jump down into the crowd, right? And there's a full-blown mosh pit going on. And at one point, you see it in the video, the headstock is hanging off of the guitar. So Grady was his name, his tech, right? Grady? He jumps down, just cuts the strings off. So now it's like a Steinberger because the headstock is gone. And he played the rest of the song.
Oh, thank God for locking nuts, right?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And, you know, his guitars were not, you know, he wasn't one of these guys that babied them. They were played to death, man.
Yeah.
And they looked like they had gone through hell and back. And that's where the Dean from Hell came from.
A guitar is supposed to incur a couple of wounds.
Oh,
it is.
It adds character.
Absolutely.
That's very cool, man. And there's recordings, obviously, with you, right? There's got to be some stuff out there with you playing.
Yeah.
The Femme stuff, or is there other albums out?
Oh, wait, repeat that. Sorry, I'm like zoning out. What?
So, did you record with the Femmes and?
Oh, no. We were touching on the subject, but it hasn't happened yet. But Maidens are going in. I mean, it's still Maidens stuff, but Maidens are about to go into the studio end of March, and I'm currently writing my own stuff.
Oh,
so
nice.
That will be out shortly. God, it's such, you know, finding time to sit down at your own studio after all these tours, it's very challenging. Programming drums and, because finding people out in LA to play with is, especially when it's your own music, it's your baby. You want commitment, not option. You can't really find players that aren't in 10 other bands and want to focus on that. So it's really tricky to get a band up and going, because I'm not into the whole virtuoso thing, so I don't want my name on something. It's like I want to be part of the band, like that the family, or like Pantera, like I want to be in a band like Pantera where everyone in that band serves a purpose and adds to it, not just a guitar player wanking and showboating while 4 other people have their head down. It's like but
hey, look at me, look at me.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah.
That's why I respect Vinny, because they've been offered, to bring in Zakk Wylde and do like a reunion thing.
It would not be the same. I wouldn't see that.
And Vinny was like, nah, man, that Pantera was Dime and Rex, and and no way. Was
what it was.
Yeah.
Was what it was.
It's a lot of respect for that.
your own material. Are we going back to Prague or?
No. Definitely, how to describe it? I would say if Old Wasp, 84-ish Maiden, and Firehouse got together. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do vocals yet, so I can't really say Firehouse. But no, just going for that old 80s sound, that chainsaw,
cool.
80s.
Yeah, well.
Pedal tones.
Yeah. Right. There you go. Well, very cool. We're going to keep an eye out. I think you said probably later in the year, summer June. Or something, at June. Oh man, we'll definitely keep an eye out. God, June is booked, but we'll definitely keep an eye out. And if we catch you somewhere, maybe we'll be able to swing by and say, hey.
Yeah, we can hang out, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now we'll
have a party.
Hopefully by that time we'll see your new surprise.
Yes.
And
nice.
we'll be drinking protein shakes.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We'll do some squats.
We'll do wheatgrass shots.
I'm there with that. Absolutely.
We'll do some squats. We'll do some powerlifting. It'll be great. It'll be awesome.
Change my guitar strings.
There you go.
I always need help with that.
I'm good. I'm great at that.
Yeah, you are. You are.
That's what I've been reserved to. I figured out I was a shitty guitar player, so I was like, hey, I can change strings.
We got a couple of bigger shows coming up I need to talk to you about.
Oh, there we go. Done.
Done and done. All right. I don't know that we've missed anything. Mick, Courtney, have we missed anything?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
I just want to thank you. I mean, it's always weird because, when you don't really have, direct contact sometimes, and it's so strange doing this podcast when I'm trying to connect with people sometimes, because it's like, well, that looks like their address, and then you email them and I get response back from some guy, oh, it's just a fan page, dude. I have no contact with these people at all, and I'm like, why do you do this?
I wish I did.
I'm like, well, why don't you tell me where you are so I can come kick your ass? How about that? But so thank you very much for coming on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you wouldn't know it, but like my Instagram posting all the time. But I am kind of a private person, so even getting me on the phone is tricky. But you guys are successful in that. But
well, there we go.
It wasn't too bad.
Oh no,
I'm not a talker.
It was great. It was great, and you're not only not a talker, you're a great talker, but you say what you need to say on stage, and that's what matters too. So that's very
never give a microphone to a guitar player.
Dan, we always say drummer, but
exactly.
Hey. All right. Well, Courtney, thank you so very much for taking the time.
Pleasure's all mine.
Have some great shows coming up. Safe travels. And, we'll keep an eye out in June, and if schedules permit, we'll come out and say, hey. And Mick will change your strings.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, hey, before we go, you don't have a website or anything, right? Do you?
It's CC amps-shred.com.
Okay. That is going to live underneath the show in
Gratuity.
That's right. And make sure you guys go out there, check out all that stuff. Go out to all of her social media, like all that stuff. Definitely check out her music.
CC Shred.
She likes to eat like everybody else, and that's the way she gets paid. So make sure you're throwing some love over there to the Iron Maidens. And you know, man, it's been awesome. Now we got to talk to the bass player from the Iron Maidens.
There you go. I think we've done everybody else.
Yeah.
And we'll,
Yeah, she's easy to get a hold of. I'll let her know on Saturday at the show.
There you go.
That'll be perfect. You shoot her my email, we'll make it happen.
Totally. We'll have her on. All right, Courtney. Once again, thank you so very much. Have a great evening.
Get back to my cats right now.
Oh, there you go. Tell them we said hi. Give them a treat for us.
She's a cat
Give them a
lady.
treat for us. There you go. All right. Have a great one.
You too. Thanks, man.
Okay.
And there you have the story.
What a nice person, huh?
You know, another Pennsylvania transplant.
What is up with that?
I don't know.
I was
Something
born in the wrong state. One state away. What the hell?
It's true. Yeah, me too. But just on the other side.
Yeah.
You know?
Christ, we missed it by every way. Yeah. We were all around it.
Totally.
We didn't, really, if you haven't, a lot of people know who the Iron Maidens are, but if you haven't checked it out, go out, check out her videos where she's playing with the Iron Maidens, or even at NAMM and stuff. Man, she is spot on, and she really has the chops. I really want to hear what she's going to put out on her own stuff, because she's got that. She's got a good gauge, like with her playing. No wonder nobody wanted to play with her. They were scared.
Yeah, see, I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
man,
she kicked their ass.
It's showing up by a girl.
Yeah. Some dude would be like, "Well, we don't need you in the band anymore," and then they get her in the band. You know, I would have been all over that. I wouldn't have. I'd have been like, "Well, look, you know, this is incredible selling point here." You know, I would be looking at that and going, plus she's killing it. You know,
and it's funny. She mentioned that the one band that had 3 guitar players in it, and they always used to fight. It was, I think, with the band before Femme Fatale.
I think that's what. Yeah, was that Toxic Box or no? It was. I don't know.
Oh my God! What was the name of that? I don't remember. But anyway, I think they missed a golden opportunity. They could have been Lisa Skinner, you know.
Yeah.
And just 3 guitars.
That's beautiful.
There you go.
And there. So until next time, my friend.
That's right, because you never know what band name we're going to make up next.
That's right, but my name is Mick Marcelino, and you're...
I made up Jeff Bober, so there you go.
And we're always safe.
Onward.
Be sure and follow the show on Twitter @AmpsandAxes. Also, make sure you like the show on Facebook. For news, comments, and everything else, visit the webpage ampsandaxescast.com. Thanks for listening.